Generic greetings and welcome to Construction Plus Prison Architect Alpha 36 Episode 1. This will be the last alpha build we will be doing on Prison Architect. That's because the full version of Prison Architect, or version 1 should we say, is due to be released in October. So no more alpha updates, no more alpha builds. But it doesn't mean the end of Prison Architect, not by far. But, you know, it's a sad day indeed. Either way, what we're going to do is build a new prison as always. We're going to go create a new prison. We're going to keep it on small because, well, I'll explain that in a moment. We're going to keep fog on, generate forests will turn off because we don't want them, fitting conditions is on, we'll have gangs on, and we're going to have events on. Now, events are the main addition, or pretty much the only addition to Alpha 36, and they add random things. So, for example, you will get fires, you will get subsidence, you will get prisoners that come down with a virus, and little things like that, you know, little bits of flavour, little sprinkles on the top of the massive gateau that we already have to eat. So, the reason I've done a small map is I want to put everything into one prison, as in everything that's been, everything that's in the game I want to try and get in this prison. And I was going to do a medium prison because, well, you would think it would fit in better, and it will. However, the thing is, we've been running small maps for so long now, I think it's fitting that the last map we do on the alpha videos will be a small one, and then, once obviously the game is released fully, then we can start doing really big ones and bigger builds, knowing that we're not going to get monthly releases, and we can do really big prisons and things like that. So, that's what we're going to do. Small prison for this one, and then move on later on. So, let's just go to our intake and turn that off. We do not want that. We want all types of prisoners. We want minimum, normal, and maximum, as well as we want death row as well. So that's going to be difficult getting all this in. Let's see what we can do. So we're going to go to planning, and then we're going to go to walls, and then we need to put a wall all the way around the prison like so. Then what we want to do is do that again and have a double skin of wall. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because one of the things you can get in the... One of the new things you can get in the random events is subsidence, as in bits of wall will randomly fall down, and if you only have one wall, guess what happens if we didn't have that, and then that bit of wall just fell down? All of prisoners would go, hey, we can go to the shops and buy cake and then stab people, so we probably don't want them doing that. I mean, I don't really care if they buy cake, that's all good. As long as they bring me a piece back, then that's just fine and dandy. However, stabbing people, not so much. Is my job as prison architect and commander-in-chief and all of that is probably to stop them doing the stabbing. Let's just measure the center of this. 39 and 39, so we now know what the center of the prison is. There we go. Okay, that is good. So, as I said, we're going to try and get everything in this prison. So let's just see what we can get. So we want some sort of entranceway. So I want it to go... I want deliveries, and I want exports, and I want garbage in pretty much... I was going to say equal measure, but we don't actually. But let's just see what we can do. So we're going to have a wall that goes like that, okay? That'll be our entranceway there. And then we will have, I guess, a... room here, which will be that'll be our room where we search everybody. That should be about right. Although 1, 2, 3, 4, is that right? Let me just quickly check objects. Table is only 4 across, so that's fine. So we can have doors. That is all good. So that's fine. Okay, there we are. And then we want some sort of deliveries. And we could have them across the road. We could have deliveries and such across the road. It would make a little bit more sense because then we have a lot of room on this side. I think we'll do that. We'll put deliveries and stuff across the road. So let's just plan that off now. Let's just go to our rooms, and then we'll just get rid of these because we don't need them. And then we do need deliveries first. Deliveries. And then we want garbage. And then we also want exports, which we... Oh, we can have. There it is there. There we are. Or does it make sense putting it in the center? It does make sense putting it in the center. So, that's not there. I want it to be... There's deliveries. There's garbage. And there's exports. Oh, too big. See, if I did that... There'd be like several people, maybe even yourself, going, ah, CD! Well, yeah, guess what? It's not that bad. Right, let's go back to the planning and see what else we can make. So, we got that there. That's good. Main entrance, obviously metal detectors, doors and stuff. Let's just quickly plan that off. I want to try and be a bit quicker than I am normally because these videos tend to run to about 40 minutes, which is quite long. Let's just plan off some walls. Actually, you know what we could do? We could probably just do that. really. I mean, I'm going to do that for reasons that may become clear later on, depending on what happens. Let's just get rid of that wall there, and then we want 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, actually, no, let's do it up this way, because we don't normally do that. Let's just delete that, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and that. And then way straight up there, and as you probably guessed it, 1. This is our staff area, and the reason I'm doing it up here is because normally you do it down the bottom. So let's just make it a bit different. Again, we could put that across the road. Don't want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a total of 6, I believe. Let's have a quick look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Psychologist goes somewhere else. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do us quite nicely. We'll get rid of that bit there because we don't yet need it. And then we'll just put that up to the top. That'll be our staff room. That seems fine. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. This one, we'll do a similar way. We'll run it right down the bottom there. Obviously, this is not a double skin anymore. We'll have the entrance to that place there. Entrance to this one there. And this one we'll have split it right down. And for a start, we need at the back a generator. Actually, we need 2 generators. So let's put a generator in there. Put another generator in there. And then we need the water pump like that. Now, the reason we're going to have 2 generators is because we want to have obviously enough to power food, power the kitchen and stuff. So we need to power the cookers and the fridges and things like that. But also we want one for the workshop, which means we have to have another one because I know one of the random events is if you're running your power system very, very hot. So you're running it very, at pretty much the manageable levels where it's right near the top on 90% or above. It could just explode. So I don't want that for probably obvious reasons. Let me just, let's fix that there because we don't need the big space that it had. Right, there we go. So what can we have in this area here? Well, I'm thinking a staff room. No, we've already got a staff room. Let's just put that in there. We'll put that in there. We'll put that in there. Right, what can this place be? Well, let's go to rooms and have a quick look. We've got the officers. We don't have security yet. We don't have an armory. We could have an armory there. Yeah, let's put the armory and stuff there. So we'll have this place as a security room, and then we'll have an armory. What size does the armory need to be? I don't really think we need an armory, but we probably put one in anyway because we're just trying to get all of the rooms done. So an armory is no minimum size, actually, so we could probably honestly just split that up there. The reason I want to do that is because you need to get enough things in it for your, well, you need to have enough in there for enough space for like lockers and stuff like that. So that's our security, that's our locker room job done. Okay, so that is not too bad at all. Let's just have a sort of exit here, so it'll be like that. Okay, and then it'll come out and then it'll run along. So actually, you know what, I'm not going to do that, mainly because I know I don't have the space. I need to have a pathway that goes all the way along. So what we're going to do, we're going to have the top way, all this bit at the top, as like not a row of shops. That wouldn't be definitely wouldn't be the right thing to say it would be, but it's going to be I guess it would be, what can I describe it as? There's been several comments about people saying, like, you should do a row of utilities and shops where we have things like the bookstore and the postal service and all of that right on one row. And I like that idea, and we've never done it, so that's what we're going to do here. So let's have it, we'll say 8 across. So that should be in a size of 8, which it is. There we go. And then we'll run it. Actually, we could probably just make it 10, couldn't we? Is that 10? It should be. Yeah, it is 10. Okay, and then we're just going to go straight across there. The reason I'm double skinning this and not this bit, all of this is staff room, okay? So if that wall falls over, don't particularly care. If that bit falls over, don't particularly care. However, if I put it right at the back and that bit fell over, then they can run straight out because the prisoners have access to this. I don't know if the walls can just break if they are on a foundation. I don't know whether it's just singular walls or walls in general, so I'm just going to play it safe. So and we go there, and then we're going to go pathways, and then go straight across to the other side. All right, there we are. That's fairly good. And then what we want to do is go to walls, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe. And let's just start splitting these off. Now, why am I doing it 8? I don't know. It just seems to be about the right size. Okay. So that's not 8. Thought it wasn't. That's not 8 either. That is. That is as well. So that needs to move across. And then this needs to move across. Right, so what are these going to be? Well, I think in no particular order. Classroom. Library. Chapel. Mailroom. Store. Something. Yeah, what else can we have? Let's have a quick look at that again. Starting from this side. So, chapel. For example, chapel. Classroom. Library. Mailroom. Shop. Words. What could I have there? What could I have there? What, indeed, could be there? What if we split it like that? That could be a laundry and cleaning cupboard. That seems to make sense. Or laundry and parole even, but I think we'll be leaving that for somewhere else. This area, workshop. One big honkin' workshop. Okay. Right. That seems to have gone in quite well. I'm very surprised that fitted in. Right. So there's that. Visitation we have not yet got. So what I'm going to do is just go to walls. Get rid of this bit here. And for a start, I'm going to go wall up to there. And actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to undo that. Go back to that 8 and hang on. 8 and is that 8? It is. Yes. Okay. So we'll get rid of that, and then we want to go along, pretty much like that. Might even need to make it bigger than this, but we'll see. This was going to be our. This was going to be our canteen and such. But I don't know whether that works. Let's have a quick look. 10 from there, 11 from there. Yes, it is. Measuring from the different point. Right, so that could be a fairly large kitchen. It's actually too big. We can shrink it down a bit. There we are. There's our kitchen. We haven't yet got storage, which is a problem. Yeah, let's get that in. Let's get storage in first. Let's have storage there. And then kitchen next to it. That would work. We can just shrink that down a bit and have it like that. Only a little bit of storage and then a kitchen there. That does work, I think. Let's go to objects and then measure 10 from there. And then it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be 10 there. That's problematic. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make it a bit bigger. Might as well make it bigger because we do have the space. Right. So like that. And then shrink that down again to there, maybe. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. So it's a little bit bigger. Kitchen's still there. And then we go serving tables. 2 of. Serving tables. 2 of. And then we can have the entrance to this thing there. Like that. And then kitchen stuff in there. And obviously this will be storage. Blah, blah, blah. You've seen it before. This bit, we're going to drag it. Actually, I think we're going to have probably a big do we have common room there? Do we have just a, I don't know what to have there. I think we were going to have a visitation on that corner. So how many visitor tables can we fit in? Just go to objects. What size is it? It's not 3x4 at all, is it? It's 3x2, I'm sure. Yeah, 3x2. Thought it was. Hard to remember some of the size of these things. Like that. All the way down until we get to the end, basically. Not going to do it. You understand what we do. So visit tables all the way along there. There's visitation. Sorted. In here, we want an entranceway, and we'll have it there. Only one entranceway. In fact, what I'll do, let's not only have one entranceway. That would just make it, well, violent. Let's undo that and we'll have it so we have some sort of triple entranceway. Only one side, though. We're not going to do it the other side. Is that about right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's fine. So all them going there. Let's just go to our pathways. Have a pathway going right down, like so. You're thinking, oh, what's this area going to be? That's where we're going to have our prisoners. So all this at the bottom here, going to be one big cell block. At least that's the plan. And so it's not symmetrical, but you know it was never meant to be. So this will be our canteen, kitchen there. Well, it's kitchen there, canteen here. In terms of fitting this thing out, we're going to have tables like that, tables like that, tables like that. You understand tables are going to be in there. Don't need to plan it off. You've seen it a million times before. What else are we missing out on? We haven't yet got anywhere for the prisoners, which is a big problem. We haven't yet got a forestry area, which I do want. So let's just do that now. Let's have this split off down there. And then, actually, we'll probably make it, say, 10 to there. Yeah, that's fine. So that should be 10 by 22, that's fine. So this area here will be forestry, and we'll have an entrance there and an entrance there. In fact, what we could do if we really wanted to, we don't really need that walkway all the way along, we could do that. We could get rid of that, and then we'll have a double entranceway in there, double entranceway in there, and then this will be forestry, this will be the workshop. So it's like a separate area, but do I really want that? I don't exactly know. Can't decide, can't decide, can't decide. It's a teeth dryer. Do I want that? Don't think it even needs to be that big, forestry. We're mainly putting it in as a matter of just sort of just say that we've got it in there. You know, we've actually placed one. So I think we'll just have it like that, and then we'll have an entrance there and an entrance there. That's going to do well, and then we'll go down to this side, and then this here will be, all of this here will be a yard. So we've got yard there, that's pretty cool. Let me just go to our objects and we'll have sort of an entranceway there, something like that. I'm going to have automatic door openers on the things and things, you know, you understand, so it'll be quite easy like that. That'll be pretty good. Right, so what are we missing out on? Well, we do want to just put that across there. That's walls. That's the wrong thing. We want pathways instead. Pathways up to the end there, and that is cool. So that'll be our yard. Quite small, but it should be fit for purpose. Right, let's just finish off the pathways. So pathways down there, pathways across here, all the way to there. And then I want to run pathways down to that bit, and then across to there. Obviously, this bit in the center is a room that we haven't yet got, so we'll see what we're going to have there. This section here is going to be an area that you can't get to under normal circumstances. Actually, what I'm going to do is do this, and this is going to be our fairly big cell block and pretty much everything else. So this is going to be the cell block, and this will have all of the prisoners, which is going to be a lot of them, obviously. But before we do that, let's just see what we haven't got. So I guess we'll say we'll get rid of that and we'll put a building right in the center, and this is going to be our random odd job building. So first things first, I know that I need to just run that right across, and then that is parole, because we haven't got a parole, I know, so that's going to be our parole area. This is going to be our morgue. Actually, no, let's redo this whole bottom area. This will be our infirmary. So there's an infirmary, I don't know. Hang on, let's have a think about this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's run it right across, because we don't really need it that big. That's our office for psychologist. That's our infirmary. That's our morgue. Quite small. In fact, what we'll do, we will expand it up a little bit, because I think that's just the best way of doing it. Yeah, that's okay. That should be fine. Okay. Then this is big common room, because we do want a common room. And then we want to split that across. And then we want this as a parole room, which is a 5x5 room, as you can see. And then we need, oh, well, this is obviously common room, so we'll have entrance there. That's all cool. That's not in the center. Actually, I'm lying. Yes, it is. And then this could be Alcoholics Anonymous, like a little separate area where you can go in and do that. So that's still a common room and such. But there you go. That's not too bad, I don't think. That should be it. Okay, right, so we've got an armory, we've got that, what haven't we got? We haven't got an area where we can sort of really talk to the prisoners, and we haven't really got a proper security room. So we do need a security room, we do need dogs as well. We also need Solitary? Yeah, we do need solitary as well. What if we just solitary the entire wing on this left-hand side here? Because it's not going to fit in properly. Fantastic. Right. Another idea. Okay. How about we have that as security room. Splitting off from that, we have solitary. And then across like that. Okay, solitary. Like so. A lot of solitary for some reason, I don't know why. Normally I run out of solitary, so maybe that's why I'm overdoing it. Right, there's solitary. This area here is like, I don't know what that could be. There was a reason why I was doing that, but I can't remember what it was. We could, if we want, get rid of the security over here, because we don't really need it there now. Move the storage over there. And then bring security over to this side. We could do that. Don't know why we would do that. Don't think there's any real need for it. But let's just keep planning on as if we know what we're doing. What else can we have? Well, we haven't got a holding cell. Here's a better idea then. There's that. Okay. Double walkway back there to them. Single walkway back there will do the job. The long walk. And this will be our security room at the back. Alright? Security room around there. This is where we'll actually interview prisoners. This will be our solitary. Alright? That makes sense. At least to me. And then we need a holding cell. So we could just go straight to there. But for some reason my mouse has just changed sensitivity to about 200 DPI. Which means it's really sluggish. Oh, good grief. Hang on. There we go. Mouse is on the way out, so the middle mouse button doesn't work. It's a Logitech G600, and it's got a thumb pad on the side with like 12 buttons, and only the first 6 work. And the button on the top that randomly changes the sensitivity, for some reason, just clicks itself now and again, and just goes, oh, your sensitivity's gone to 0. Imagine if you were playing a shooter at the time, which has happened several times. Anyway, right. Really need to buy new things. Right, so we've got that there. We've got this bit at the side, which is solitary, but then we don't really need it that big. So what I'm going to do is split that down, and not solitary, that's solitary. Holding cell, we could have this as a holding cell. No, we can't because it's not big enough, because it needs to be 5, and that's only 4, which is a ball ache. Let's have a quick look. Let me just make sure I'm actually not talking rubbish. It is a 5x5 minimum for a holding cell, which is really, really annoying, but that's fine, whatever. We'll deal with it. So we need a 5x5, which will be that. So that is a 5x5, and this will be our holding cell. So that's okay. Then we need an entrance into this area, but I don't know where we're going to put it yet. And then we're going to have... Right, let's plan this out quite well. So that'll be solitary, that's a holding cell, which will have an entrance there. And this is going to be death row. So we need the room. That's going to be the room of murder. What do you need? You need benches in it, don't you? There we go, double door, and then benches like that. Okay. Entrance there. Oh, entrance there, rather. Entrances, you understand. And then we want one here. Actually, we'll probably put it there. Because then cells can go along there. There's 2 cells for death row. Do we want that? No, don't like that. Don't like that at all. Prefer just to do that, to be honest. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Quite small, some of these cells, but I don't think we're going to have a lot of death row prisoners. I'll actually be very surprised if we get 1, honestly. But we're going to plan off as if we can have several of them. So there we go. There are the several ones. Do we really need that? You know what? I'm gonna do what I did. Oh god, that's modern art right there. Look at that, lovely. Now let's do what I did before, which is sort of waste a lot of space. I know, but let's do that because that looks pretty cool. And then you can have, you know, it's as if they are really, really split off. So that's death row there. That's pretty cool. I like that. So that's death row. All separate and everything, and then we've got a holding cell and solitary, and yeah, that seems to work. Right, so the big one, this is going to be where we've got our cells. So at the back we are going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then straight across, and then we're going to basically have some 4x4 cells at the bottom, assuming there's not going to be an odd one out, which I almost certainly know that there's going to be one because there always bloody is. The chances of you having an odd cell, I keep on measuring it wrong. And I'm sure I've measured something wrong in here. That's wrong again. Come on, get it right. Come on. Come on, Kev, get this sorted. Right. That's about right to there. Eesh, not really, because that's a bigger cell, which I knew it was going to be anyway. So, let's do the age-old thing of cutting this up and then thinking, well, let's just put that at the back, and this will be our shower. Where's the middle of this thing? Is there a middle? 20? Yeah, there is a middle then. It'll be them two. So that should be 9, which it is. And that should be 9, which it is. Fantastic. There's our shower. And then what size is that? That's an 8x22, that one. Okay, there we go. So that is a shower on both sides. Is that right? 9, yep, that's fine. Okay, shower on both sides. So we'll see if it fits in now. I'm sure someone that already done the maths is going, aha, it's going to fit or it's not going to fit. Delete where applicable. But I'm not that person. More visual myself. And stupid. And then... yeah, it's going to fit. Yeah, just ignore that shit one at the end. No, right, so what we need to do then, we'll have... what we'll do, just for the sake of... oh, good grief. What can we have? Well, we could have one big cell, because generally you want one big one, because obviously we're trying to do grading. So maybe that's what we're going to do. I don't know. Let's just put some entrances in here. And we're going to have the really, really small cells at the top here. We could go for the 2x2s, 2x2 cells, but that does require a grant and you to unlock it. But then we are trying to get everything, so let's just try that. Let's have a 2x2 set of cells at the top here, which is obviously really, really small. No, let's not have the 2x2s here. Let's have them in the center because we know we can really squeeze them in if we want to. I don't want to have this very high capacity, by the way. You know, 50 prisoners is really my upper limit, or at least my ideal upper limit. We can't really. That's just going to be odd size as well, isn't it? We're going to have odd sizes all over the place. It's just the nature of the beast. Yeah, see, it's going to be odd sizes all over the place, you see. We could... redo where the entrances are, but then it's going to look really dodgy. Like, we'll have to get rid of that. 3, 4, 5 entrance there. I'm just trying it because why not? One, 2, 3, 4. It's going to fit as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Entrance. Well, be rude not to, wouldn't it? Be rude not to. Right, okay, so that's going to be our cell layout. So cells up there, cells up there, cells up there. We've got showers at either end. We've got some really fancy cells down the center. And then in the middle, we're going to have something like that. And hopefully, I don't think it is going to fit in. I was going to do 2x2s, but I don't know if we're going to have the room. Or rather, it's, you know, I don't think it's going to be as efficient. Or it will be, actually will be more efficient because we can pack more prisoners, but I don't want to pack more prisoners in. So there you go. That doesn't work out. I'll tell you what, just to make it a little bit different here. Do I want to do that? Could do that. Yeah, we're going to do that because that's cool. But then it's going to really smudge this one up, isn't it? Is it? I think it might do. Hang on. Let's just measure it out. That's 4 there. Down to there. And then... That's 4. Have to redo the centre bits as well. See, the whole thing is messing it up. But I really like that. So could we just do that across the entire thing? We probably could. They have to be on the other side, I think. Like that to make it sort of symmetrical-ish. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. And then entrance, so you can go between the two. Okay, I think we'll do that. Right, okay, let's just go through the things and see exactly how many bits I've forgotten. So cells, yes, we've got several of them, all different varying sizes and gradings and stuff like that. We might change this bottom bit here because I don't like the fact that the rest symmetrical and that isn't, but your ideas in the comments and all that, and that will help out. Holding cell, yes, we've got one over there. Solitary, we've got lots of that one. Cantina, kitchen, sorted. Shower, yes, either side. Yard is up the top bit there. Storage is that bit there, but we might change it, I'll see. Deliveries, garbage is over there. Workshop up the top. Security, we've got one there, and we've got one in that corner there. Offices, we've got enough on that side. Deliveries, garbage, sorted out. Oh, whatever. Offices, yes, sorted. Infirmary and morgue is all here, as well as another office there. Common room is this bit in the centre, plus that extra bit there. Laundry is this bit at the top, followed by, where are we at? Laundry. Visitation, which is this chunk here. Cleaning cupboard is there. Kennel, bollocks, we'll come back to that later. Armory is over that bottom side. Staff room, we've got this top bit there. Library, we could say that there. Forestry, yes, we've got that chunk. We've got a classroom and then an exports over there. Chapel, I'm just going down this. Obviously, parole is down the bottom. Reception is at the start. Mail room and then a shop. So... we've got all of that, and then obviously we've got death row, which isn't actually shown on here. So the only thing I'm really missing is a kennel. So where can I put the kennel? Well, I think it's fairly obvious what we'll do. We'll have this bit as an outdoors. We'll have a 5x5. We don't even need it outdoors, but there's our kennel, and then the entrance there. So the dogs are actually outside in the forest. Makes sense to me. Right, that's our proposed solution for the Alpha 36 problem. As always, comments in the comments, that will change how this is built and how we progress on. The idea is to do a completely mixed bag, so we'll have low, medium and high. I've just realised I don't have any protective custody areas, so I really need to sort that out as well, but please put your comments in the comments and we can go from there. Thank you very much for watching, take care, and generic partings.